Welcome to the second lesson in our Early College Foundations chapter, where we will discuss becoming the perfect candidate for investment banking. In order to secure an investment banking interview, we need four things. First, lots of networking. Second, a decent understanding of IB. Third, a solid resume. And lastly, a demonstrated interest in finance. We will outline exactly how to network in Module 3, so for now, let's focus our efforts on the other three attributes. To understand investment banking, take our IB 101 course, which will outline exactly what investment banks do. Along with this, you should understand what an investment banking analyst does on a day-to-day basis, including creating pitch decks and sims, valuation analysis, market research and updates, and finding comparable companies and transactions. Check out the bonus for this lesson, which outlines many of the common tasks that an analyst completes. Looking through the bonus material and the IB 101 course will ensure that you have a solid understanding of what banking is and what analysts do. This is important so that you can sound knowledgeable and prepared during your chats with bankers. Now let's jump into the resume portion. So, what makes a solid resume? A solid resume consists of a high GPA, past, preferably relevant experiences, leadership positions, involvement in campus clubs or organizations, and involvement in finance-related activities, which all of those things can include. While having all of these attributes is certainly not necessary, this highlights what the perfect candidate would have. We should aim to have as many of these attributes as possible to increase our chances of success. Along with this, our resume should be properly formatted. For resume formats and structure, check out our post on effective resumes. Let's dive into these different parameters that make up your resume now, starting with prior experience. Starting out with internships before investment banking. Having one or two finance-related internships is extremely helpful when going through the banking recruitment process. Banks like to see a finance-related internship as it indicates interest. Internships also allow you to explain your interest in finance and explain your interest in investment banking during interviews. We can also use our experiences to answer behavioral interview questions, like tell me about a time when questions that come up very often during interviews. Our internship experiences provide scenarios that we can use to answer these situational questions or questions that warrant examples. Now, in the middle market, it is easier to get away with not having strong past internships. However, it will definitely still help. These internships give you something to speak about during interviews and something to fill your resume with. If competing for elite boutique or bulge bracket banks, it is much more important as a semi-target student to have one or two finance-related internships. Since we are not the main targets of many bulge bracket or elite boutique banks, we need to differentiate ourselves by being a much stronger candidate. Internships are a great way to do this. Listed below are some common internships that freshmen and sophomores complete. We will outline the entire process of securing freshman and sophomore internships in the next module, so stay tuned. Let's move on to extracurricular activities outside of internships. we recommend joining clubs that interest you. Being involved on campus is a great way to take on leadership positions that are finance related. These can help to boost your resume in addition to internships. Even if it isn't finance related, being involved on campus and having leadership positions or genuine interests is a good way to show that you can handle multiple responsibilities and manage your time well. Also, if you don't have internships or have very limited internship experience, you can use these leadership positions to answer situational behavioral questions during investment banking interviews. Moving on to case competitions. Case competitions can be a great way to get exposure to banking by doing some hands-on work. This will help you to practice your Excel, PowerPoint, and pitching skills, which will all be important during your summer internship. Case competitions can also help you to practice your valuation skills, which will be very helpful during interviews. While these are by no means necessary, they can give you something to speak about during interviews and to put on your resume. Early on in college, many students have resumes that are relatively empty. Saying that you were able to work on a pitch deck, analyzing a certain investment or M&A target is relevant work. It doesn't matter that it came from a case competition rather than an internship. Getting experience putting together decks and valuation analysis is highly relevant. Case competitions also show that you have a genuine interest in finance, as they are outside of your required college classes. Genuine interest goes a really long way for investment banking interviews. Along with the experiences that we just discussed, you must also pay attention to your classes and GPA. When thinking about the classes you choose freshman and sophomore year, try to enroll in classes that you can score well in. This will help you achieve the high GPA that is necessary to compete for investment banking internships. Banks only look at GPA, not the actual classes you take. So prioritize classes that you will do well in over classes that you believe will look relevant or prepare you for investment banking. Banks don't care about relevant classes, and most classes won't do a great job of preparing you for investment banking. If needed, take a lighter semester and make up the credits later by taking heavier course loads once recruitment is over. Having more time during recruitment is necessary, just because of the sheer amount of time it takes during the semester. Maybe even treat banking recruitment like its own class, and take one less course during the semester. To research professors and classes, use Rate My Professor or school resources like fraternity or sorority Excel sheets. Picking courses with favorable teachers will make achieving a good grade so much easier. Along with class selection, make sure to dedicate time to studying and homework so that you can achieve a high GPA. If needed, most schools allow you to take at least one pass-fail class a semester, which is a great get-out-of-jail-free card if you accidentally, say, pick a hard professor or class. As a minimum requirement, students should be around a 3.5 GPA. However, many positions have minimum GPA requirements around 3.7 or even higher. So, the higher the better. We believe that a GPA around 3.7 is great, while a GPA below this could lock you out of some positions or be a point of contention. Don't let this be the reason that you can't get past initial screening for summer internships. Banks use GPA as a benchmark because it is such an easy way to sift through endless resumes that all look the same. GPA is a check the box requirement, so ensure that you are competitive and make sure that it isn't an issue. Pro tip: a check the box requirement is a simple yes or no. You either pass or fail without any further thought or consideration needed. The last piece to our puzzle is a demonstrated interest. All of the aspects that we have covered indicate that a student has a demonstrated interest in finance. Having a quote, demonstrated interest is extremely important for recruiting. Banks want to see candidates who are genuinely interested in banking, not people who are interested in simply the money, prestige, or exit opportunities that the job provides. So, having internships in finance, being involved in clubs in a finance role, or case competitions are all great ways to show that you have a genuine interest. More finance experience extended over a longer period of time shows that you have an interest in finance that isn't new. It's not hard to explain your interest in finance if you have been actively involved in finance during freshman and sophomore year. It becomes much harder to explain your interest if you have zero finance involvement. Coming up next, we will outline how to secure a freshman or sophomore internship.